Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Welcome to the Sunday chat. For those newer to the channel, and there must be quite a few because the subscriptions are going up, which is good, thank you. What goes on this channel? It is a variety, it's not just orchids. I run a second channel which is gardening and bonsai. And when I do a video on that channel, I also post it here. So the routine on that channel tends to be if I film something, which is not that often, perhaps once, maybe twice a week, I post it on that channel when I've finished filming and processing, which is normally sort of lunchtime, maybe a bit before, something like that. Depends what I'm up to. That video will get posted on this channel first thing in the morning. Yeah, so it gives people that just watch the other channel, because maybe they're just interested in the bonsai, chance to have watched it, and those who can't be bothered or whatever to go to the other channel to see those videos still get the opportunity to watch it on this channel. That doesn't mean to say it has to be watched if you're not interested. That's what YouTube's all about. You watch what you're interested in. Now this is my main channel, the Orchid channel. I post on here virtually every day, unless I'm out all day, unless I'm away somewhere. And I tend to take a day off on Monday. We have some regular things. This is a regular video. Unless I'm not physically here on a Sunday, I always do a Sunday chat video. And although it's called my Sunday Orchid Chat, it's not always about orchids. Sometimes other things creep in. Sometimes it's about where I grow the orchids. Sometimes, you know, there's other things creep in, life, the universe and stuff, you know. It's a chat video, so don't expect to see lots of orchids. I'm stood amongst a lot of them. I always stand somewhere where you get to see some nice orchids as part of the surrounding area. So this is a regular feature. Another regular feature is everything in bud, spike or bloom on the 8th. That's a monthly one, and it takes place on the 8th unless I can't. Like it falls on a Sunday, for instance, then I'd move it because the Sunday chat takes precedence. It's weekly. The everything in bud, spike or bloom is a monthly event on or around the 8th. There aren't really any other regular things at the moment. That might change. I am thinking of some new ideas that would have a multiple session of videos, a succession of videos that could become a regular event, even if only for part of the year. So that's that. Other things that go on out here, this time of year there's repotting to do. Some orchids get split when they get repotted, so where there was one there may be two or three in the last case. Some orchids are coming out of pots and going on to mounts. There won't be any going the other way, not this time anyway. Occasionally I film watering, you know, just as I can talk while I'm watering, if you see what I mean. We used to do, and it seems to have dropped off, and I may bring it back by popular request, hint hint, say what you want in the comments. You don't say anything, you certainly won't get what you want. Well, you might do by chance. I used to do a thing that I called something like one shelf at a time, or a look at a shelf. And that's a good thing for me to do while I'm watering, because I water a shelf at a time. And that would allow me to have a chat about each plant on that shelf. Now some shelves, like Masdevallias, Myodonts, and no, let's stick to the ones that are definite. Masdevallias and Coelogenes take up a shelf, and that's all that's on that shelf, there's nothing else. All the other shelves have different types of things on. The Cymbidiums at the moment are mainly on here, on their staging. This was purpose made for the Cymbidiums, but there are a few others dotted around because there's too many to go on here at the moment while they're in bloom, and that's because some of them arch over and take up quite a bit of space which they won't take up anywhere near as much when they finish blooming. All of the new cymbidiums will get repotted when they finish blooming, and that it will be before they go outside. When this staging goes outside, sort of mid-May, something like that, when the frosts are over, any that are still in bloom will stay in here until they finish blooming. But all the new cymbidiums need repotting because they're all in that fibrous cocoa coir type stuff mix, which I just don't like. It is good and it does grow good plants, don't get me wrong. These are going to go outside. This is the UK. We tend to get a bit of rain in the UK, although we're not having a drop at the moment. And that stuff would stay soggy wet and rock the roots outside without cover, which is how I grow them in the summer months. So I can't allow that media to stay when they go outside. So I repot in something that drains a lot better than that. And obviously we'll film some of those repots. I don't think I'll be splitting any, but there's some that have got to be potted on. They're going to go into bigger pots. That's not a repot, it's potting on. Just take them out of the pot they're in, settle them down in their new pot and put new media all around the outside. It gives them room to expand, and it gives the new growth around the outside of the plant some room to get some roots down. Otherwise they'll hang over the side of the pot and the roots effectively will be wasted. Cymbidium roots don't do too good in the air. They are mainly terrestrial type plants or semi-terrestrial. And then there's assorted other plants that need a repot. We'll see how we go. But there's work to do, basically, is what I'm saying. Now the environment in here is on the change. It's that time of year. It happens at the beginning of the year like this, beginning of the growing season. It happens again at the other end, 6 months' time, 6 or 7 months' time. So what's happening out here? Well, what's happening is the nights are getting shorter. It's the nights at the moment that are costing me money because the temperatures, well, certainly this week outside and last week, come to think of it, are low. Consequently, in here, overnight, the temperature drops too low to suit the orchids I have. So I have a heater and a circulating fan. They come on together on a thermostat. So it's at the moment, I've gradually put it up. It was set to 12 for the depths of winter. Then it went up to 13, then 14. It's now set at 15. So the temperature in here now, overnight, doesn't drop below 14. As soon as it drops from 15 to 14, the heater kicks on, takes it back up. As soon as it touches 16, it switches off. So it averages 15. So I've increased my nighttime temperature. That's to go with the start of the growing season here. Now, in my old place, the week we're having now was sunshine, and we had our warmest day last Friday. With that type of weather, I would already be getting 27, 28 degrees in here at my old place. However, in here, where the sun doesn't hit it, yeah, I'm still down at 21, 22, which is perfect for cooler growing orchids. So I'm not knocking it, but I am down on light levels as a consequence of not getting some filtered sun perhaps through the roof. But later in the year the sun will start hitting the roof and it'll get brighter in here. So at the moment the heater's still running with the circulating fan. Now soon, I don't know how soon, it depends what goes on the other side of that glass, quite honestly, but soon the humidity in here is going to start going too low. Now at the moment it stays around 65. Overnight it goes up to 70, 75 and then drops down again during the day. That's fine for what I'm growing. I could do with it a bit higher. And on that note, soon, when I don't need that heater overnight, I will disconnect it and its thermostat. And then I will reconnect my hydrostat and my little mister. Word went, mister. and I will connect the mister to the circulating fan. Otherwise I'll just get all the mist will come out and sink to the floor. So I need the mist to come out of the mister and get stirred up and shared amongst all the plants. And then the hydrostat will cut that off, you know, when it gets to a certain level, yet to be chosen. But it won't be high. Now around the other place, because of the heat and the light, I used to have to try and keep my humidity at 80+%. And in the summer days, with that sun on the glass, that was not easy. I had to work hard through the summer months to keep it cooler. I don't have to work hard anymore for that. And the other thing with the costs of energy, I have to keep those costs down. So I'm mindful all the time of anything that turns on and off. Now at the moment, the change I made a while back has saved me quite a lot of money. I'm very pleased. That change was that as we started to come out of winter and get slightly longer days and shorter nights, when I got up in the morning, I turned the heating on in the house for me and Mojo to keep reasonable. And then once it got light and the light level was up, I was opening the lounge door, and that allowed some of the heat from in the house to come out here, and that stopped the heater kicking in all day long. Yeah? Now we've got to the point where I still put the heating on first thing in the morning because it's still quite cold. House cools down overnight. It's dropping down to 5 or 6 degrees overnight. Even though it's lovely and sunny, it's still cold at night. So I still have the heating on in the morning. Day lengths are getting longer, so the door comes open earlier now, starting to get warmer out here earlier in the day and staying warmer longer. So I should induce growing. That's the plan. And by using that, not excess heat, but you know, some heat from the house coming out here, it saved that heater coming on during the day. That's actually saved me quite a bit. That's 2 kilowatts plus the fan. You know, so that's my high energy usage. And obviously the heating in the middle of winter when it's freezing cold is high energy usage as well, because it's so cold in the house. You know, when we get those really cold snaps, it's so cold in there I can't open that door, so this heater has to come on as well. Luckily we didn't have too much of that this winter, but and now we're coming away. I mean, eventually we'll get to the point where I don't need the heating on in the house at all. You know, I'll just put it on for hot water. And the heater out here won't be needed. I get a period where that's like luxury that I can save up ready for next winter. I wonder what the government will take away from us for next winter then. I wonder. We shall see. At least our government's not quite as unpredictable as some others. Let's have turmoil throughout the world, shall we? A total chaos throughout the world. One man's decisions. Should that be allowed? I don't know. Well, it's happened, whether we like it or not. I'm sure some think it's marvellous, but you can go back to night school and get an education if you like, I believe. We shall see. It's all good stuff. There's nothing you can do about any of it, so, you know, it's got to put up with it, haven't you? But it will affect the country I'm in to a degree. Not a huge amount, but it will affect us. And who suffers? As always, with any form of conflict, including economical conflict, who suffers? It's the ordinary people. Unfortunately, it's the ordinary people who voted people like that in. Yeah. Get what you wish for, perhaps. Sometimes you have to watch what you wish for, they say. Right, so that's the environment in here, under control. Took a couple of years to even get my head round this place. It really did. It was such a dramatic change, and that I did not anticipate. I didn't realise how much of a change it was going to be, but it is. And you know, I've got my head round it now. I've adjusted the way I do things. You know, if you think round the other place, I used to have 2 big circulating fans, an industrial type humidifier, Hurricane Hector. Who remembers Hurricane Hector? Probably never get used again. I might even sell it. Yeah? I don't use it and I probably never will. It's too much for this place. Far too much. And it's a hassle as well, having to have a header tank to keep it fed with water and that, so I probably won't use it again. I've got a little one, a little household type mister that's more than enough to raise the humidity in here 10 to 15% during the day. Not necessary at night. Humidity automatically rises with the drop in temperature. So yeah, got it under control I think now, and what I can say now that the seasons changes are now a routine. I don't have to keep inventing things, I don't have to keep rethinking. It's just a routine now. And this is the first year I could probably safely say that the whole year is a routine. I don't have to stop and think, I don't have to start worrying what the hell am I going to do in the summer. What happens when it starts getting cooler? Well, these will be outside getting all their spikes sorted out, won't they? I've even got that, you know, off now. So, yeah, so in here is okay. The garden is okay. I've got that under control now. It's wild and wayward nature when I moved in, polite version, is now under control. And there's a lot of planting been done out here. And excuse me a minute. Rat. You might have to put some traps out for them. They're starting to get about again. Quite honestly, they don't really do any harm, but it's possible with the way these houses are built that they can get in the house, in parts of the house. They certainly get up in the roof. They have races over my bedroom when I'm trying to get to sleep. And I've even had one manage to get in through the drains and come into the kitchen. But that was the first year I was here. I blocked up that access. But yeah, I'd rather they weren't around, quite honestly. It's not like Mojo's quick enough off the mark to even catch him nowadays. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about him. I'd let Mojo deal with him. I don't think he's quick enough now. He'd probably sit there and watch him like he does with the birds. He doesn't chase the birds. He sits outside this door sometimes watching them on the ground under the bird feeders. He doesn't attempt to chase after them. He's just a bit laid back now. He's a bit old, you know. And that's something we will have to face. If he makes it to the end of this year, I will be very, very pleased. He may not. He is old now, 21, heading for 22 I believe, or certainly into 21 anyway, so that's old for a cat. They do get older than that. I mean, my sister's cat was 23 I think she said. But you know, he is getting on a bit. He's slowed down, he plods around now, he doesn't trot. But he still trots upstairs and he still jumps up and gets on his blanket, still jumps up on the bench out there and sits in the sun with me, which we are both enjoying a lot. It means my big cut back on the wine is off the table at the moment for a bit. The reason being, we are having wall-to-wall blue sky basically, and we've got another week of it, yeah? Certainly into next weekend. It's predicted that we will have warm-ish sunny weather. The problem we've got at the moment along the south coast here is we've got a bit of a nip in the air from an easterly breeze, and it does take the edge off what would be quite warm. Nonetheless, sat out in the shelter of that corner on my bench, it's lovely and warm in the sunshine, and Mojo comes and sits with me and we sit and enjoy the sun. That's what all this gardening was all about, to be able to sit and enjoy it. Not look out everywhere, in every corner of this garden I used to see jobs. Oh God, that needs doing. Oh, that still needs doing. Oh, that's going to be hard. That's how it was for the first couple of years. Whereas now it isn't. It's not completed. Garden isn't finished. I've still got a couple of areas that need a little bit of thought. So there's still some odd things to do, but it's comfortable now, that's the main thing. So that's good. What else is going on? The orchid shows are now over until late summer. I've got my visit to the Mathers Foundation, my second visit this year, at the end of April. I'm going on my own this time. Lynn's not coming and nor is Hannah, so I'll be going on my own. And I'm specifically going to see the Peony house in full bloom, plus everything else that's there, and just have a nice day out. It's a morning visit this time instead of an evening, so a bit of an earlier start, but only half a day used up. You know, I'll be back probably 2 o'clock, 2:30, and that'll be the day done. So I could still do things here, if you see what I mean. Now, on the subject of the Mathers thing, I've done 3 videos. On the end of this video is a clip I forgot. I'll stick it on the end of this one. And basically it's the Masdevallia collection. Not all in bloom, but some were, and worth seeing that video. And then really is the last of the clips. And I must admit, considering what that place is all about, its conservation work, the rarity of the plants. There's a lot of plants in that building only exist in that building. They don't exist anywhere else in the world. They are unique because the crosses have been bred by themselves and none have been sold. So they only exist there in that building. Considering all that, I didn't get that many views on those videos. So be it, but nonetheless it's part of what happens on this channel, is visits to nurseries and shows and things like that. And there are occasions when I sort of think, that video should have got a lot more views than that. But that's not my decision, is it? That's your decision. You choose to be with the channel and support it, and you choose out of the videos you get put in front of you which ones you want to watch. So those are your choices. But it surprises me sometimes how low the views are on some of those type of videos. But nonetheless, you're going to get them, you like them or not. And some people think they're marvellous. So as long as there's enough people that enjoy them, they will be done. It will be so. Yes, so there's that at the end of April. Then, what else? There's the Orchid Festival at Burnham's, which is the middle of August. I won't be going to the NEC this year, the Gardeners World Live International Orchid Show. I won't be doing that this year. We're not exhibiting as an Orchid Society, that's been decided, so there's no reason for me to go apart from to enjoy the day, and it's a hell of a long drive to do for one day, because you've got to start really early to get there at a reasonable time to make a day of it, and then you get home really late. And quite honestly, as I get older, those sort of days are getting a bit much for me. It's just a bit too much. So we won't be doing that this year. And then the next Orchid actual show will be probably Bournemouth Orchid Society, that comes up in September. So it gets thin on the ground through the summer months, but in the main that is the growing season for a lot of types of orchids anyway. So putting a show on when nobody's got anything in flowers, not the best of ideas. Bonsai events, what will I be going to? Unfortunately, this is happening every year and it's unlikely to change. Our Wessex Orchid Society's autumn show is at the beginning of October on the Saturday, and the Heathrow Bonsai Show, one of the biggest in the country, is on the Sunday. The Saturday is a very long day for me. I have to get there early, help set up and everything, and I've got to do the front desk with the people paying to come in and all that stuff. And I get home quite late, and quite honestly I'm very tired. I nearly used the non-polite version then. It rhymes with cream crackered, but to think the thought of getting up early the following day and doing another long drive and a long day and back again, I'm usually just, I can't do it. I just sort of think, oh, is it really worth it? And so, the past couple of years I haven't done it. The only other bonsai event I'm hoping to go to it's like a boot sale, and it's in a field on a hillside overlooking the downs, and it's a stunning place to hold a bonsai event, providing the weather's okay. If it's raining, I wouldn't even bother getting in the car to go. I'm not standing around the field getting soaking wet. But it's a lovely event. It's a lot of private traders, not actual traders, private people who are perhaps getting rid of some of their surplus bonsai, some of the pots they don't use anymore. So there's lots of odd things for sale, as well as a lot of traders, and a lovely atmosphere of people just chatting, being friendly and everything. And across the road and down the track is, what do you call it, what's the posh word, an equestrian place. Stables and people jigging about on horses with daft hats on, all that sort of stuff. But they have a nice cafe to go with it that does a wonderful cooked breakfast. And you include that as part of the day, and it makes it even more. I want to go even more, because I don't have that sort of breakfast here, obviously. So it's a treat. So I will go to that, weather permitting. Apart from that, we won't be doing many bonsai events. I do have garden visits coming up, one of which I'm going to check with the school holidays. If the kids are still at school this week, I will be doing a garden visit. Now, I've been there once before and filmed it. I think it turned into a couple of videos, I'm not sure. And it's a secret woodland garden. It's open to the public, it's got a lovely place to eat, lovely restaurant, gift shop and all that, but it's called a secret woodland garden because it's not made a big deal of. And there's people live in the road it's in who've never been there. There's people live in the area don't even know it exists. That's why it's like a well-kept secret. And with this weather as it is, if it's not Easter holidays yet, I will be going there this week. I will take a day out and go there, and we'll have a look round the secret woodland garden. What I will find this time of year I don't know, but you can guarantee there'll be a lot of bulbs around. What else might be in bloom? The heather garden might be going, but there's lots of streams, water areas, little lakes, ponds, all that sort of stuff, rock gardens, massive specimen trees. It's in a valley, it's a sheltered area, so they can grow things there which most gardens in the UK wouldn't be able to grow. They've just got that little microclimate in their area. So we'll go and have a look around there one day this week if I can. If it's school holidays, then I will go there after the school holidays finished. It'll just be too busy otherwise, and when you've got a nice secret place like that and you want to walk around, the last thing you want, I'm not being nasty or anything, but for a person like me, the last thing I want is kids running and screaming all over the place. It would be a waste of time me going there. I would really not enjoy it. So that's the logic. As I say, I'm not being nasty, that's just how I am. But, yeah, so there are a few things coming up. Some field trips to go and see our native orchids and butterflies, which I do on occasions. Quite a few of the places I've gone in the past and enjoyed, I might not enjoy quite so much anymore because of the dodgy ticker. Because there always seems to be hills involved. And I don't do hills as good as I used to. It's as simple as that. I just can't. The energy's not there. The level's not there. I haven't got that level of energy, so I'd have to have a serious think about where I was going to go and what's the land like, how flat is it, how much of a big hill have I got to go to get there, all that sort of stuff. I could still do those places in short stages with rest points. I can still do them, but if I have to keep stopping and worrying, am I pushing myself too much? Again, it takes enjoyment off, doesn't it? So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I know one place I can get to, and basically the car park's on one side of the road and the orchids are all along the other side of the road. Dead flat. You can do that one. We'll see. I'll see what I can sort out. And we'll see how you go. So that's the sort of things that go on here. Got the maintenance and everything of what's going on in here. Some visits to various places outside. Some gardening stuff, and bonsai stuff. And as I say, I get to orchid shows that I can get to. But I need to be able to get there and back in a day. Now on the sadder note about Mojo, when that sets of circumstances change, I can go farther afield because I can stop overnight. I'm not prepared to do that at the moment. But when that's okay to do, and I can have a stopover, then I can go farther afield. Because I can go early one day and spend the day, spend the night and drive back the next day at a leisurely pace, having had a nice breakfast. So those sort of events might come back in, when I can do that sort of thing. So there we go. So a lot of waffling going on in this one, but I hope for those who are relatively new to the channel, or perhaps have never really thought about it, that gives an insight to what actually goes on here. It's not just here are some pretty blooms. That's not what this channel is about. You get to see when new blooms open, I film them. Yes, here are some pretty blooms, but that's not all we do here. We work. This is a working channel. I do work. And I think of it as work. I've got to do this bit because it's Sunday. I always do this on a Sunday. What do I mean by work? This and that out there and the things in the pots, the bonsai, those are my hobbies. This is work. Why is it work? Because it earns me some money. And that money goes in the pot to help fund all of said things. Yeah? So that's why I think of the YouTube channels as my job, because I earn something from them. And on that note, on Sundays we do thanks for supporting the channels. Yeah? So minimum support, watch some videos, But if you do watch a video, unless you really don't like it, please do the thumbs up. That does help the channel. It helps all the channels you watch. Just click that thumbs up. That's the one thing that doesn't cost anything. Watching the adverts to a degree, you don't necessarily have to watch the whole thing, but YouTube seem to think 30 seconds is a good thing, and that's how the creators, people who make the videos, that's how they earn their money. It's from the adverts, not from YouTube direct. YouTube don't pay us anything. They give us some of the money the advertisers paid them. Yeah? It's not their money. They didn't even earn it, come to think of it. So that's how the money changes hands. And on my channel I've also got the Patreon site. You can become a patron of the channel over there, and for a relatively low monthly subscription you help support the channel. On that channel, the Patreon, on that site, this Sunday chat gets posted on there first. It gets posted in a clever little way that means you never see an advert on the Sunday chat. Not at the beginning, not after, not during. And how do I do that? I load it onto YouTube as an unlisted video, so nobody can see it. But I take the link over to the Patreon site. So anybody who comes in via the Patreon site can see it ad-free. That's the little perk. There aren't any others. That's it. You can become a member of the channel on YouTube, but it's an inefficient way of trying to financially support the channel, because YouTube take nearly a third. Yeah, so it's an awful lot, I think. Yeah, and the other financial support you can do is to buy me a coffee, which is basically, I think of it like leaving a tip. You know, if you went to a restaurant, had a nice meal, the service was good, you tend to leave a tip, don't you? Well, that's how I like to think of it here on the channel. You've seen a video that you particularly liked or was particularly useful to you, helping you perhaps with some of your orchids or something like that, you leave a tip, yeah? But as I said, the minimum support is watch some of the videos, watch the front end of the adverts. If you get a 5-minute advert thrown in front of you, if it's non-skippable, then go and make a cup of tea or something or other. Most of the adverts nobody really wants to see. But where can you go nowadays? Where can you watch stuff on a screen, whether that's your phone, your TV, without adverts? It's almost impossible. Even in this country, the BBC, which is ad-free, no it's not. Every hour you get their adverts advertising their programmes. They're still adverts, they might not be for, you know, for new shoes and new shirts and food or stuff like that. They're still adverts, they're still stopping you watching programmes. So you still get adverts even on the BBC. They disguise them. They're advertising their own wares or what's coming soon, but it's still advertising programmes, still a form of advertising. So that's how the channel works and how the finances work and how the support works. And the support is gratefully received. Without it, there is no channel, is there? If you guys didn't watch the videos, then from my point of view, there'd be no point in making them, would there? They're made to be watched, and it's appreciated that people do, spending some of their own time watching somebody else's videos. It's a bit special really, so thanks for all that. And that will do for this one. There will now follow the last clip from my Mather's visit. It's only a short clip. Don't even think it's a couple of minutes. It's a very short clip just to end on, so you get to see some nice blooms. And day off tomorrow from filming. I'm busy tomorrow. I've got to change the water on my Deesers and water all these Cymbidiums. So I've got work to do tomorrow, but it's behind the scenes. And I will see you next time for something, and it'll probably be work related because I've got quite a bit to do over this next month or so. It's just that time of year. And I'll see you in the next video, and thanks again for dropping by. Thanks for all the support. It is appreciated and it's not taken for granted. See you next time.